little bit of news with you. The person who has been incessantly contacting us,
Although
saying,
stopped for a while.
stop for a while.
Yeah.
We got another letter today from this person, an email saying, I know where her body is and who the kidnapper is. Give me half a Bitcoin and I'll tell you. And this person has been really persistent.
Yeah.
But TMZ, we just received two new notes, a couple of new ones. So both are from the same person offering information on the kidnapper. But for the first time, this person is revealing an exact location and claiming that they saw her in Mexico, as we had previously reported.
TMZ has received another ransom note, not just one, they received two. What I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to tell you about the ransom note. Plus, there's some other details I found out about the first ransom note and why they think the very first one was real. Plus some other information that I found out, okay? Stay tuned, Fugitive TV. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel, where we take a look at cases and we take a look at them from a different perspective. Sometimes a fugitive perspective, because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I ran for 15 years, lived in different countries under different names, different cities, all kind of places. After I did some white collar crime, turned myself in. Now I own a few businesses. I help families locate missing individuals. And I try and find individuals to help bring them to justice because, hey, I know what it takes to be on the run. I lived in that underground world for a long time. Well, right now we're going to talk about Nancy Guthrie, okay? And I shouldn't have to explain who Nancy Guthrie is. We all know Nancy Guthrie is Savannah Guthrie's mom. She's been missing for a long time now, pretty much 2 months almost, or around there. 84-year-old woman out of Tucson, Arizona, all right? There's a lot of videos explaining who she is. I even have them. But what we're going to do is get down to why I'm doing this video, okay? First of all, we're going to talk about the ransom notes. We're going to give you some more details that I found out that was in, especially the first ransom note, that they never said. I have a source that's inside of Pima County. So far, the source has not been wrong. Everything they told me has come to light. Every single thing. There's even some stuff that I have not mentioned yet because I'm waiting to see if it does come to light before I mention it. But I'm going to tell you some information that I found out, not just from this person, but also some information I found out from the other side of the border. Here's the thing. When I was on the run, okay, I told you I went to different countries. Mexico was one of the countries, okay? So I was in Sonora. I was in that area because I was in Tucson. And then while I was in Tucson, I met up with some people and figured out how to cross pretty much into Mexico in the situation that I was in. So I still have some contacts with some of those people. And not only that, contacts with people, hey, because I told you I turned myself in. And before that, I was sent to a boot camp prison type. Well, it was prison first for about a year. Then I went to a boot camp facility. But that year first, I was in there with all kind of people, okay? And there's some people that were old favors in return, all kind of things. This could be a whole nother video of how that works. But there's some more information that I found out, all right? And I'm going to explain that to you. But first, I'm going to tell you about the new ransom note. So let me get my phone. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a timeline of these ransom notes. Now, if you remember Savannah Guthrie in her interview she did with Hold On today, speaking of that, do you find it odd that Savannah came back today, this morning, to work? At the same time she came back, TMZ pops out with two ransom notes. Savannah also did a video yesterday for Easter. Some people are finding this odd, like what's the timing of this? I don't know. I'll let you guys figure it out. Let me know what you think, all right? Well, here's a timeline of the ransom notes. Now, February 1st, all right? This is when Nancy disappeared from her home, was February 1st. All right. February 2nd was when KOLD TV receives the first ransom email demanding millions in Bitcoin for her safe return. All right. So the first ransom note was sent to the local Tucson station, KOLD TV. All right. Now, I don't know a confirmation on how much was originally asked for. There's a bunch of speculation on what it was, but the first ransom was anywhere between, I want to say 4 to 6 million, I think it was. It might have been 3. I don't know. Like I said, speculation, but they wanted that in Bitcoin, okay? February 3rd and 4th, multiple media outlets report receiving similar detailed ransom notes requiring, in part, Bitcoin. So it wasn't just KOLD TV, and it wasn't just TMZ. Other media outlets reported this too. The only difference was when these other media outlets got the ransom notes, they sent them straight to FBI, straight to the police, straight to law enforcement. TMZ sent theirs too, but TMZ went on air and talked about the ransom note they received. That's the only difference. So there was multiple notes that was sent. Now here's the thing, we don't know all the outlets these notes were sent to. We don't know because some of these outlets might be shut and not saying anything, okay? Now, February 5th at about 5 p.m., that was the first deadline for the ransom payment. The note included specific details, including mention of an Apple Watch and a floodlight. So this is when they talked about the Apple Watch and the floodlight was destroyed. Was on February 5th, okay? Now that was the first deadline. Now I told you about the details. I found out some details of the first ransom note, okay? So the details I did find out. Now I do know, like I said, we all know they asked for a certain amount of Bitcoin. If you don't meet this by a deadline, then you have to pay this much. Now on February 5th, FBI also confirmed they are aware of the ransom note and its deadlines. So we were all waiting for the 5th, right? Remember, we were waiting for that day because that was the deadline. And then that was when the FBI confirmed they were aware of the note and its deadlines. Now, February 6th, additional ransom messages are sent to media outlets, threatening to skip to a higher demand if initial terms aren't met. Now, that's when they raise the Bitcoin amount, okay? So they pretty much, I think it was doubled after that. February 9th, the final ransom deadline for 6 million. 6 million passes. Authorities are not aware of the direct contact between the family and the suspect. So I believe the final amount was 6 million. So it went to 3 and then it went to 6 million. February 10th, a small amount, $152 transaction is sent to the digital wallet linked to that note. So I've showed you guys before what a blockchain looks like. It's called a blockchain. When you buy cryptocurrency and it's sent through the blockchain, it's traded through the blockchain. I've showed you guys what a wallet address looks like before, but I know I have a lot of new subscribers since then. So I'm going to go over that and show you guys in detail what a crypto wallet looks like. And then also explain to you it can be traced, but why it's difficult for it to be traced, because it can be. It's just difficult for it to be traced, okay? So I'm going to go over that with you guys as well. Now, on that first note, okay, the first one that was sent February 2nd, this is the note that they believe is real. So these are one of the notes that Nancy Guthrie was talking about in her video when she said, talking about the 2 notes. Now, the one detail we did not know was that I found out about, they said they would kill Nancy. That's a detail they never told us. They said they would kill her. So if that was the case, the first note, if it's true, that means that she was alive. If this is true, okay? Now, it still could be false. But that's if this was true. they said they would kill her. Now, my question to this is, like I said, I believe the first note was 2-3 million. I know it wasn't 6 million. It was 2 or 3 million in Bitcoin. I can't remember exactly what the amount they said it was. And like I said, I don't think we ever got clarification how much the first one was. But if that's the case, should Savannah have paid that ransom? Now that you know what that first note said, that what they will do to Nancy or your mother, would you have paid that just to pay it, just to see? Okay. Personally, if I got millions in the bank, yes, personally. If I have no leads, I don't know where you're at, I'm paying. No questions about it. And you know why I'm paying? Because if I already got 40, 50, 60 million in the bank, I know I can go and make that money again. First of all, I know I work for a big network like NBC. I can easily go back and make that money. I can easily go do an event and make some money. I have resources to make that money back. It's not like a regular person that's working a 9 to 5, making $25 an hour. That I understand because, and I even think you guys, if you're making $25 an hour, you would give a person every penny you got probably to get your mom back. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys would. But even if you gave every penny, you know you're going into debt. You probably got to sell houses, cars, whatever it is, jewelry. You know that. It's going to be harder for you to make it back. But a person in Savannah's shoes, it's easier for them to make it back because they already have a secure job where they're working at, okay? Not only that, they can go get contracted jobs easily. Like she was supposed to go host the Olympics, presidential debates, you know, things like that to where you can get paid extra money on the side. So I'm pretty sure she could have got some contract jobs where she could have got extra money on the side just based off her name. If she's worried about that 1 to 3 million or whatever it was, I would have paid it back or paid it. Now, she never paid the note. But my question is, she said out of her mouth that they believe those ransoms were real, the first two. So if they believe they were real, why not pay them? And if they didn't pay them, did somebody tell them not to, like law enforcement or the FBI? Okay? Because I got an inside source that's been right this whole time, and an inside source straight up told me, hey, some people around here are acting like they don't want to solve the case. That's what they told me. They couldn't give me no more clarification, but they said they're acting like they don't want to solve the case. So why is that? Was this said on purpose to her not to pay the ransom because maybe somebody does not want to solve the case? I don't know. But the deadline passed, right? And then they wanted more money, okay? Then Nancy put out the video talking about, it was almost like a cryptic message. Like she said, we have your message. We received your message. We just want our mother back so we can celebrate. And people started, just assuming and thinking that Nancy's gone. She's no longer with us, okay? Let me grab my phone real quick so I can give you guys some notes of the new ransom that has came in. Now, we do know the last ransom notes that have came in have not been allegedly from the kidnapper or the kidnappers, okay? Or the abductors, whatever you want to call them. The last few ransom notes are saying that they know where this person is, okay? One of the ransom notes that Harvey read on TMZ said that, hey, give me half a Bitcoin. I will give you information. And if it leads to Nancy and an arrest, then you can give me the other half. I need this so I can get away, which I understand. Because my whole thing was, to begin with, the first reward was only $2,500, people. The first reward was $2,500. They wanted somebody to snitch on a group of people who stole an 84-year-old woman out of her bed in the middle of the night, who's most likely not alive anymore. They wanted a person to snitch on these individuals for $2,500. You seen gas prices today? Can you even travel across country, driving, get a hotel so you can stay safe, maybe for a week, and then you got to go back home to where danger's at? So you got to put your life on the line for $2,500. Snitchers around the world looked at that as a slap in the face. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you how it is. They looked at that like a slap in the face. Like, what? You want me to tell for $2,500? I live in Florida. That barely makes my house payment. So no, it's not happening. So I always thought that was odd. So, but this person wanted only half a Bitcoin at the time. Half a Bitcoin, I believe, at that time was around 50K or around 50K at that time, okay? So for $50,000, they would give you the location and everything else, and then if and if it panned out, then pay them another 50. So really $100,000 to get your mom back or to get your family member back. I don't understand why 30K just wasn't given to the person. I don't know. But the new notes are pretty similar to this, okay? Pretty similar. So there was 2 notes that was sent. So the first note says, I know where her body is, and I know where the kidnapper is. So they're claiming that they know where the body is and the kidnapper. And then once again, they're asking for half a Bitcoin. Okay? They're asking for half a Bitcoin. They also claim that they've been out of the country, but they know where the kidnapper and the body is. Now, they say out of the country. I wonder if it's out of our country as in America or out of Mexico, that country. What country are they talking about? And the reason why I'm going to say Mexico is because of the second note that was received, okay? So another note was received right after TMZ went live, okay? They said, I saw her alive with them in the state of Sonora. Did you peep one of the key words right there? I saw her alive with them in the state of Sonora. So if this person is telling the truth, they're saying it's more than one person. They are saying them. Okay? Not only that, in a ransom note they sent to TMZ before, okay, they also included them. They included that it was more than one person. So once again, they are saying it's more than one person. Now, I guess because TMZ or us as people are taking them as a joke, the second ransom note, they got a little more serious and I guess a little more agitated, okay? They're saying that they're frustrated that the FBI isn't taking them seriously. And it's unbelievable that millions have been wasted. And yet I'm here. I am waiting to deliver them on a silver platter since the 11th of February for a Bitcoin. But I am disregarded as a scam. They are free to sin. Once again, they are free to sin. They are free and the case is frozen. But the egos remain hot when it comes to me. Arrogance at its finest in. So they are saying this person saying they are free to sin. They, once again, they. So they included them and they. Okay, so basically they're saying, hey, you're taking me as a joke. All I'm asking for is a Bitcoin. Now, right now, Bitcoin is worth, it fluctuates all day long, but right now it's around $33,000 to $35,000. last I checked. And I'm going to show you guys the blockchain so you guys can see that, okay? But they wanted half a Bitcoin. Sorry, half a Bitcoin's worth $33,000 to $35,000. Sorry about that. Half a Bitcoin is worth $33,000 to $35,000. So a full Bitcoin right now is worth around 70, maybe 75. It's somewhere around there, all right? Back when they were asking for this before, it was worth, a full Bitcoin's worth $100,000. So right now it's 30,000 less than what it was the first time they were asking. Now they're assuming this is the same person because the Bitcoin address or the wallet address or cryptocurrency address is the exact same as the other ones. Now you might be asking to yourself, why can't they trace these emails? Well, from what my knowledge is and what I found out, they're not sending them an email. What they're doing is going on to these media outlets and filling out a tip form, which I'm going to show you right now. Here is TMZ's website, okay? Right from their website. Send TMZ a hot tip. Got a hot news tip? Have photos or video of a breaking story? Be sure to include the following information: your name, phone number, email address, hometown, and a short caption that describes what is happening in your video and where and who and everything else that's being taken. Fill out the form. All hot tips are immediately forwarded to the staff. Okay? So, right here, you can fill out the form. So let's put Peter and let's put Jones. All right? Now let's do an email. All right, so I just did an email, okay? Let's hit submit. You see what I just did? I put in a fake email. I put in a fake name. I just typed in hello, and now it's sent right to TMZ. Okay? I'm pretty sure they get stuff like this all the time. Okay? So this right here, TMZ, is for educational purposes only. So don't get mad at me. It's just to show the people how easy it is to send these media outlets like TMZ a tip and you don't know who sent it. Now, as you guys saw, I filled out that tip form. That's all these people have to do. Fill out a tip form. There's a reason why I ask you for your phone number and email address, because when you fill out these tip forms, it's hard to figure out where it came from. So it's not like a regular email address. Now, you can send an email address and spoof it from these IP addresses and spoof it from here in this town. You can do that too. There is ways to do that from blocked VPNs and things like that. But as you see, you can go right on the website and send in a tip and put in fake information and it goes right through. You saw it right here firsthand. Now, the ransom note says, I saw her alive in Sonora, Mexico. So for you guys that don't know about Mexico, you know how America, we have states? Mexico has states too. So I'm going to show you this. So you see right here, this whole area that's below Tucson, all right, is the state of Sonora. So when they say we saw her alive in Sonora, this is the whole state, people. I mean, where at in Sonora? That would be my question. Where at in Sonora? Sonora is almost the same size of Arizona, okay? Almost the same size as Nevada. Sonora is not small. I think it takes you about, I would say, maybe almost 10 hours to drive across from north of Nagos. I think that's how you pronounce it. Nagos. I can never pronounce the border town that's right there on Tucson. Naglis, all the way down to, you know, the next state. Now, I've never been down that far. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've never, ever in my life been down that far. I had no reason to go that far. But look at the terrain. See the terrain here? Once you get out of the city here, which is Nogales, I believe it's pronounced Nogales. Once you get out of the city there, it's just terrain. As you see, you have an airport that's here, okay? Nogales International Airport. It's a little small airport. And then you got some couple compounds and a couple ranches off here in the mountains. But that's it. And the rest of it, like I said, is just terrain. Now, Nogales is kind of like a little town. It's not rich by any means, okay? Not at all. Matter of fact, here, let's put the little man here and I'll show you. As you can see it just looks like a regular town. People are driving, all right? You're going to see a lot of barbed wire around fences and things like that because of the crime, theft, things of that nature. A lot of times you're not going to see like brand new cars. They're going to be a little older because cars in Mexico are more expensive than they are here in America, okay? So when they said, you know, that whole state, as you see, it's the whole state. So I'm wondering where in the whole state. That's what I would like to know. They're still only asking for half a Bitcoin. So half a Bitcoin, I told you, is around 33 to 35K right now. Why don't somebody just give them the 33 or 35K? There's a man who came out before Savannah Guthrie raised it to $1 million out of nowhere and then gave $500,000 to the Exploited Missing Children's organization. There was a man who came out that some people don't know about this. A man who has no connection to Nancy whatsoever offered $100,000 to anybody who calls Crime Stoppers with some information that leads to Nancy Guthrie. Now, that $100,000 is still out there. So technically, a person can earn $1 million plus this man's $100,000. A lot of people forgot about that. This man still has his $100,000 out there. He offered money before Savannah and the family did. Nobody can explain why a stranger offered money and Savannah's family didn't. We don't know. But anyway, that $100,000 is still out there, right? Some people are asking, why doesn't this person just collect all the money then? Why don't they go to the FBI and collect $1 million and then collect $100,000? Okay. Well, if you guys remember, from one of the first ransom notes that this person sent, not from the original kidnappers, but this person saying they know who they are. If you remember, they said they were scared the FBI was not going to give them the money. I honestly think they're scared of the FBI in general. If they're this close to Nancy, if these people are true, if they're this close to knowing who the people are, them as they say, knowing where, think about this, if they know where Nancy is buried, that's what they said. If it wasn't just somebody on the bus and I saw Nancy walk by, they say, I know where Nancy was buried. I know who they are. That means this person, if they are legit, is close to the situation. That's what this means. So if this person is that close and they called law enforcement telling them, hey, blah, 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 blah. I know this, I know that. I know how law enforcement works. You think they're going to give you some money straight up hit? No. No, no, no. You don't get no money right then and there. What they're going to go do is take that tip and then go try and arrest them. Now, you might get some, hey, why don't you fly down? We'll put you under protective custody. You might get something like that. but you're not going to get no money. And then you have to trust that they are going to protect you. Then you have to trust that law enforcement is not some sort of way in on this, which some people are thinking now. Yes, I know it sounds like a movie, but what if law enforcement, somebody in the organization or something was in on it or trying to cover something up? What if now you go to protective custody and now that person who's helping cover it up knows where you're at? Now it's off with your head and now you're missing too. Oh, what happened to the witness? We don't know. We don't know. He unalived himself. So if this person is for real and legit, I can understand where they're coming from, as in, hey, I'm not trusting law enforcement. Just send me half a Bitcoin. So I kind of understand where they're coming from with this whole Bitcoin scenario. Now, you might think to yourself, it's not a lot of money. It's really not. But half a Bitcoin is $33,000 or $35,000. Half of $33,000 in Mexico, if that's where they're at, is almost $1 million. I believe that's what, $600,000? I'll do the math. So if you got a full Bitcoin, you're a millionaire. You are a millionaire. Let's look this up. Let me look this up. I'm going to look this up right now. 70K to pesos. Bam. Technically, if they got a full Bitcoin, they get $1,245,000. Not only that, you guys have to pay taxes on the reward money. Did you know that? Reward money is just like winning money in a casino here in America. If you win a certain amount, it used to be a saying, try not to win over $9,999, because if you win $10,000, you got to pay the tax man. 30% or 33% of that's gone. You got to pay taxes on it. So now you only got 7,000. Wish you would have won $9,000. So whoever gets that $1 million, you got to pay taxes on that. You got to pay 33% on that, meaning you're not getting $1 million, you only getting 700,000. When you win the lottery, it's the same thing. You win $1 million in lottery, you're only getting 700,000. Or I should say around there. Then you got to wait for it to get sent to your bank account, and everything else could take days and months. Who knows? But this person's asked for Bitcoin. Now, technically, you are supposed to pay taxes on Bitcoin. Technically, you are. But the thing is, there's nothing stopping you from withdrawing that Bitcoin and cashing out. It's not like the lottery to where you win $1 million, they automatically take the tax out and give it to you. This Bitcoin, you can actually cash. I have Bitcoin. I have cryptocurrency. You can cash it out right now into a crypto wallet and cash it out to your bank account. And you ain't got to pay no taxes. You got to pay the crypto fee. That's about it. These little fees you got to pay to do it, but you don't have to pay no taxes on it. So technically, if you really think about it, they're getting $1,245,000 in pesos anyway. That's going to last them a long time if they're in Mexico. Now, this right here is what you call the blockchain, okay? For you guys that are unfamiliar with this, the blockchain shows you all transactions that have taken place through cryptocurrency, okay? So if you look down here on your bottom right, you will see how these numbers are moving. See how these numbers are just moving? That's people trading crypto, buying, trading, selling. That's what's going on here. As you see, it happens nonstop. It's like buying, trading, selling stock. It's pretty much what it's like. We can click on one, and then I'm going to show you. I clicked on this one. Now, when you look at it, it looks like you're looking at the Matrix. This is what makes it harder to makes it harder to, I should say, trace. Okay. You have a hash ID here. You see that? It's nothing but numbers. All right. So like when you send somebody a Cash App, if anybody has Cash App, you usually know who you're sending it to because Cash App will, you can make up a name, little B, Johnny, or something like that, or whatever. A lot of times Cash App's connected to an email address, a phone number. Same thing with Venmo. It's connected to an email address, a phone number. That's why Venmo will ask you a lot of times to confirm the last 4 digits of the phone number. Same thing with Zelle. If you send a Zelle, you definitely have to know the phone number or email address and then the person's name, and you send it so you know where you're sending it to. When you're doing these transactions, you don't know who you're sending anything to because this is what it shows up as. You don't see a name. You don't see a John Smith. You don't see nothing whatsoever. All you see is a bunch of numbers. Okay? That's all you see. Now look, this right here is called a Bitcoin address. This number up here, okay, that's kind of like the Bitcoin ID of who you're sending it to. So you don't know who the hell that is. You don't know. Then under here is the address. Look at all those numbers. So you don't know. You really don't know. Now this person right here, it looks like they have, looks like $30,000 in Bitcoin. Okay. So you could see the transactions. You could see their wallet. You could see when people send them money. So that's why when the ransom note had the Bitcoin address, TMZ was keeping an eye out to see if they got money. And that's how we knew that they got $152, I believe, at one point. But that's how we know that nobody, Nancy or anybody's never sent them the money. Now, those Bitcoin addresses can be traced. Don't get it twisted. FBI does have a way to trace them. It just takes a while. Here's the thing. When you send somebody the money, it's harder to trace. But once, because you can see the money, right? But once they cash out the money, it's easier to trace because that money has to go somewhere when they cash it out. It has to go to some bank account, some debit card, some credit card. And if it's a bank account, credit card or debit card, those are all linked to somebody's personal information. So once the money gets cashed out, that's when it's easier to trace it because now they just have to trace where that money got cashed out at. Okay, it got cashed out of Bank of America and this account. You get it? So now it's easier. But there's ways that people can do. The easiest way that I can explain this is pretty much before they cash out the money, there's a way they can funnel the money to make it even harder to trace. Let's say I have $1 million in Bitcoin, okay? And instead of taking out whole $1 million and putting in the bank account, they could take that $1 million, or I should say pieces of that million of Bitcoin, to this address, that address, this address. It just bounces off of all these addresses, okay? Easiest way to explain it because it's difficult, but it can bounce off of all these addresses. Then once it gets done bouncing, then sent to an actual account that you can cash out. So that means FBI or law has to track all those bounces of where it bounced from before they can find where it got cashed out at, if you get where I'm going. So by that time, you can be collected, be long gone, have your name changed and everything else. Hey, when I went on the run, I had $100 to my name. $100 to my name when I went on the run. And I managed to be on the run for 15 years off of $100. All because I figured out what to do with that 100 and I figured out how to change my name. So imagine if I can do it with 100, somebody can do it with $100,000, especially if it's $1 million and something in Mexico. They could probably never get caught again if they know what they're doing. Okay. So it is possible. If they did see Nancy, like I said, in Sonora, for me, it would make sense because I've been saying, okay, why would you stay in the States? Why? Why? If you are a criminal and you just committed pretty much the crime of the decade, because this is, you know, everybody's looking for you. You know, everybody's looking for Nancy. Why would you be in America? People were saying, oh, they forgot her meds. Well, Mexico's a place where you don't need a prescription to get some meds. And if you have a connection, the meds can be delivered to you. So it just made sense to me, because if it was me, that's where I would fled to. I didn't even kidnap anybody. I didn't even commit anybody, and I still fled there to begin with. So why wouldn't these people flee there to at least begin with? You get where I'm trying to go? That way they're safe, and they can figure out their next move. It just made sense to me. Now, I'm not saying that these ransom notes are correct. I'm not saying that, but I'm just giving you my perspective because of the knowledge and experience that what I have done. It just makes sense. Now, Nancy herself might not be in Mexico. We don't know where she's at. Like I said, I don't think she's alive, you know, rest her soul. But the people who did it, yes. And not only that, this also aligns once again with what my source told me from the Coyote organization, if you want to call it that. I've told you guys this before. They told me that they had to stop some operations because of one of the people who was involved in this is no longer with us. They took his life. He's unalive and he's dumped somewhere off on that side of the border in Mexico. So all this comes back down to what I was told, and it just makes complete sense. This person told me this, 3 weeks ago? Actually a month ago, the end of February, they told me that one of those people are no longer alive and that they're dumped in Mexico. So it makes complete sense. Another reason why this makes sense too, some people think the cartel took Nancy. Now, I don't know if the cartel took him. I don't know. It also depends on what cartel. But in Sonora, depending on what parts of Sonora, you have it. What do they call the new generation? Jalisco cartel. Now, when I was there, they weren't that. When I was there, they had the actual Sonora cartel. Sonora cartel actually kind of dissolved into this new generation Jalisco cartel. But when I was there, it was the Sonora cartel. It was a whole different. It was like the whole state was theirs. Okay. The guy El Mitchell, I believed, worked for the Sonora cartel. If I remember correctly, he worked for them, and then he broke off and just formed his own. El Mitchell was the one they just killed, found in, which is ironic. Think about this. Right after Nancy Guthrie went missing, we go in Mexico, and what do? We go annihilate El Mitchell. And then we blame it on a girl, and we say this girl set him up. Don't believe that, people. The girl never set him up. Know how I know? You know how I know? I have her on my Instagram. She is an Instagram model. That girl never set him up. That girl was not even there. She never set him up. And then they show you the pictures of her and him together. The picture is Photoshopped. Why the only picture we have of El Mitchell is with this girl who's an Instagram model in the club? Ain't no other pictures of El Mitchell but this one. That picture is Photoshop, people. So do not believe the hype when they tell you, or you see in these media tell you, oh, the girl did not set him up. Okay? They had intelligence on him already. His own people gave him up. The president of Mexico is a Jewish woman who was working with him at the time and then decided to give him up. Don't take it from me. Do your own research. But back to what I was saying about the person unalive. The reason why I'm telling you about the cartels is it would make sense. Now, I don't know if the cartels took him, but the cartels are known for getting rid of loose ends. They are known for that. Do you guys remember the story of, it was a lady, black lady. She went to Mexico, I think it was for her birthday, and went with two other guys. Do you remember that story? They were both from North Carolina, I believe, or South Carolina. And I think they went for their birthday. Remember they got kidnapped? Do you remember? And you remember, I think it was either one of the guys or two of the guys they tortured and he didn't make it out. They unalived him. Do you remember that? They ended up getting back to, we got them back to America. And you remember the cartel apologized like, oh, we're so sorry. This wasn't supposed to happen. They got caught in a crossfire. And do you remember what the cartel did with the members who kidnapped them? Pretty much turned them over. And then a couple of them, they unalived themselves. Action, not as in like they did it themselves, but the cartel took them out and here's the bodies for them. Here's the bodies for you, America. Here are the bodies for you. So who's to say that these people did do this and let's say went to Mexico and didn't get the cartel's permission? Hey, bro, you messed up. You got to go. Off with you. You got to go. Or like the person that I interviewed who's currently doing life in prison and all he did was abduct people. That's all he did was abduct people. And he told me if you have more than two people, the third and fourth are always going to be disposable. They use those individuals to do the crime, to abduct somebody or do what they need, deal, transaction, whatever it is. Then once it's done, off with them too, and then they get buried, burnt, whatever it is. They are disposable because they don't want so many loose ends out there running their mouth. This is how the cartel stays intact as they do. This is how they become so powerful because they do it with fear, not respect, with fear. Meaning if you open your mouth, your tongue is slit out. Pretty much how it works out. So I can understand why this person is once again is asking for a Bitcoin and not that $1 million reward. I completely understand if this person is telling the truth. I do. I understand. I ain't gonna tell them either. Especially not for no $2,500 that they first offered. You got to be kidding me for that one. No, I ain't dying for $2,500. I ain't risking my family getting slaughtered for $2,500. So I get it. I get it. But I want to break this down to you, plus the information that I already had, because now it's starting to make sense. We still don't know the motive. We still don't know who exactly took her. We still don't know why maybe some people could be covering this up. We still don't know if any family members are involved. We don't know who the head honcho is. I believe there's a head person that's doing it. And the people that were there at the house to kidnap her, I believe they were just sent. But somebody else is doing this. But we don't know that. But we keep getting these pieces that connect little by little, like these little puzzle pieces, but we still can't figure out what the whole puzzle is, the picture. But we get these little pieces one at a time. So the information that I got with these ransom notes and some other information that other news medias are putting out, like Brian Enton, Megan, stuff like that, it's matching up with the sources I'm talking to. So some of this stuff is making sense. Will we find Nancy? I don't know. I really don't know. Should we pay this man $30,000 in Bitcoin? Why not? Do it. TMZ, you guys keep getting it. TMZ, matter of fact, you guys are getting high ratings every time you mention these Bitcoin ransom notes. Your views go up. I know you're making $30,000 just off one video. Why don't you do Nancy and Savannah a favor and why don't you pay the money? Let's see what they say. Bet you, mouth shut, huh? Don't want to pay the money, huh? Interesting. But it beats me. What do you guys think? Do you guys think they should pay something just to see if this person is real? Because if they pay something and this person is not real, what's the worst that can happen? They just vanish off with the wind. That's it. Yes, 30,000 is gone, but I'm pretty sure somebody can cover that again. Okay. But hey, at least we know it was fake. You get where I'm going? And if it's real, you should have paid it a long time ago if you thought it was real. Please like, subscribe, share this video. This video needs to get out there, okay? To the masses. To anybody that's out there in Tucson, Arizona, searching for Nancy Guthrie right now through that terrain, please be safe, have water, wear shade, and please, 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 please Do not follow anybody that you don't know to an undisclosed location, especially if they think you're some sort of person that's a YouTuber or anything like that. I'm telling you right now, because if you follow the wrong person, they're going to pretty much treat you like you're a snitch, is what they're going to do. Especially if you got a camera on you and you're filming, because these people do not like to be filmed. You got to turn all cameras off. You got to have no cell phone on you. You got to have no tracking, any of that stuff. So some of these people are ruthless, and these are people you do not want to meet. Trust me, you do not want to meet them. So if you never dance with those lions, do not enter that den. So, hey, back on up. At least you can live to see another day. But I want to give that warning out to some people I see that is out there, especially by the border searching. Be very careful of that area. People go missing all the time down there. You just don't hear about it. We don't hear about it. I'll let you on a little secret. They got ranches down there, south of the border. They have these ranches. They think it's some farmland or people farming. That's just a cover up. It's just a cover up. That's all I'm going to say. You don't want to end up covered up in that farmland. All right? So please watch out for your surroundings. Take care of one another. Please like, subscribe, turn your notifications on. Please get me to 25,000 subscribers. We are almost there. Actually, in April, the end of this month is going to be a year since I took this channel seriously and been growing. So let's get to 25,000 subscribers. We're almost there, people. Fugitive TV. You know what to do. Turn on that notification bell. Once I get any more updates, I'm going to let you know. And I'm out.